Giannis Antetokounmpo is certainly an excellent player, but when you score 9 points, have 6 rebounds and 6 assists, and your team wins by 47, I think it's fair to say he's a little overrated. The crazy thing is, with all this dominance, you would think Giannis had a big game. If you flicked on the box score and you saw the Bucks won by 47, you would thought, okay, Giannis had a big game, Lopez, Middleton, Holiday, this guy hit some shots, but it was everybody else that did everything. Giannis didn't do anything in this game. So just the other day, the Dallas Mavericks won by 51 points over the Los Angeles Clippers, and you probably thought you'd never see a win that big for a long time. Well, today the Milwaukee Bucks beat the Miami Heat by 47 points. Now, 47 isn't quite 51, but it certainly was a dominant performance. While this certainly was a dominant performance, let's provide some context. Let's start with the Miami Heat. They were missing Jimmy Butler. Now, with that being said, that is still no excuse. They still have Bam Adebayo, they still have Tyler Hero, they still have Goran Dragic, they still have Myers Leonard, they still have Duncan Robinson, Avery Bradley. They have a lot of very good players. Just because you're missing your best player is no excuse to lose by this much. The Bucks were eliminated by the Heat last year in the playoffs. It was a fairly dominant series, and if we're being honest, it wasn't really close. The Heat shut down Giannis Antetokounmpo. They stopped him from getting into the paint, and he showed that he had not developed a consistent outside shot, and his other teammates couldn't make big shots when it counted. And the Heat were dominant, and they deserved to win that series. Now, with all that being said, let's talk about the actual game. The Bucks got off to a great start, and it was in combination of two things. I thought the Heat made some terrible turnovers early, particularly Tyler Hero. He had some poor passes early, and the Bucks took advantage. The Heat ended up having 21 total turnovers last night. That is a serious amount of giveaways, and I found that a lot of the giveaways were in poor position and what are known as live ball turnovers. Turnovers which directly result in scores for the opposition, and the Heat had a lot of them last night. So what happens when you turn the ball over and you give your opposition easy shots? The Bucks got comfortable, they got in rhythm, and they made some shots early, got out to a solid lead, and gained some confidence. And this confidence was helped by what I thought was some poor Heat defense, particularly early, and especially in transition, some of their picking up of players particularly was horrendous. Now, as good as Tyler Hero is right now, or as good as he's going to be on offense, defensively, he's poor. The same can be said about Duncan Robinson. He can shoot the lights out, but defensively, there's certainly liabilities, and the Bucks took advantage. So because the Heat let the Bucks get in rhythm early, they got some confidence, they made some more difficult shots as the game went on, and ended up shooting 56.9% from 3. Just let that sink in for a second. Not 50% from the field, 56% from 3-point land. It seemed like the Bucks could not miss from there. I think it's fair to say that Giannis has some help now with Brook Lopez, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday. These guys were shooting threes from everywhere, and they were just going in and going in. Honestly, this performance was largely without Giannis. The Heat were daring these other players to shoot threes and beat them. And fair play to Lopez, Middleton, and Holiday, because they did. The Heat clogged the paint and forced other guys to beat them. And today, it happened. Now, will this happen again? That's an interesting question. As it turns out, with the NBA schedule, the Heat and Bucks play again tomorrow night. And I think it's fair to say that this game will be a lot closer. I don't think the Bucks are going to shoot 56.9% from 3 again. I think that's also fair to say. And maybe the Heat have Jimmy Butler back as well. Their toughness, their physicality, and he really is their identity. I'm not convinced that this is going to happen again. I think Giannis is going to have a better game because I don't see the Heat keeping him to 9 points again with little to no impact. Are these other players good enough to consistently make shots? Drew Holiday certainly is. He's shown that in the playoffs. Chris Middleton's certainly a good player. Brook Lopez can shoot a little bit because that's what it's going to come down to. Because Giannis, as good as Giannis is, it's going to come down to other players around him and seeing if they can make big, timely shots when it counts. Because straight up, if Drew Holiday is going to score 24 points with 6 3-point shots, if Chris Middleton's going to score 25 with 4 3-point shots, if these guys, if Brook Lopez is going to keep shooting threes and making them here and there, if they can consistently do this, the Nets better look out because the Bucks are going to be in the finals this year.